Hi everyone. Sorry I'm a few minutes late again. It's been one of those absolutely crazy days where I've tried to fill the day with 100 different tasks that I needed to complete. So, but we're there, it's evening, it's 5 o'clock, just past, and hopefully we're going to have a nice dinner, relaxing night after the meals are made and everyone can wind down after a busy day. I do apologise if there's a bit of glare. I've got a crack on my screen which goes right across the camera, so I do apologise for that. So let's get started. So one of the things that I will be doing for myself is I love a good pasta, I really do, but being type 2 diabetic, I try and reduce my carbohydrate intake. So for me, I am going to be cooking this amazing vegetable here, or it's a curcubret, called spaghetti squash. So with this spaghetti squash, I have simply chopped it in half, taken out all of those seeds that were in there. And I don't know if anyone follows my page or not. It's Tash Can Cook on Facebook. Posted a picture earlier of all the ingredients I was using today, and the spaghetti squash made it into the photo, and it was whole at that stage. So just for anyone who hasn't cooked with it before, it's a low carbohydrate vegetable that you can use, and so I'm simply just brushing a little bit of olive oil on it for the moment. So you can use say butter if you'd like, or avocado oil, macadamia, walnut oil, any oil that you would prefer. You can definitely use that. So all I'm doing is brushing a little bit of oil on. I'll sprinkle it with some salt, and I'll be cooking this in my air fryer. So just the spaghetti squash here I get from Lean and Green in Warragul. So any good greengrocer will be able to stock it or order it in for you. You can grow it yourself. So I have consistently been saving the seeds from these and just throwing them in my compost, and a lot of the time I end up with this pumpkin vine of some sort, and I never know what it is. And I think at one point it did self-seed through my compost, but it was in the middle of summer, or it just wasn't quite the right season at that point. I think these are, or it was just too hot, middle of summer, I don't know, I think it was towards the middle of summer. Just wasn't the right season for all these plants that were popping up, unfortunately, so I haven't been too successful. But if you were a bit more organised than me, you could save the seeds and plant the seeds during the correct season. So that's another option. I think they go for about, from memory, maybe $5 or $6, $7 each, around that sort of mark. This isn't a very big one, but that will last me maybe like 3 to 4 meals. So I'm just going to pop these in the air fryer on 200 for mine, because I find it doesn't cook as hot as maybe someone else's air fryer may. So anywhere, say from 180 to 200, and this will only take 20 to 25, 30 minutes tops. The more you cook it, the softer it will get. So if you like still a little bit of a texture to it, then try and cook it for a little bit less. So I'm only going to pop these in for 20, 25 and see how it goes, because I don't want to have mush. I've got other mush that I'll be cooking here. Hi Matthew, nice to see you. So just bear with me a sec and I'll pop these in. Okay, Okay, so let's get started on the actual pasta sauce. So I've just got a little saucepan of water which I've been keeping warm just on low, just so the pasta water's ready to go when the sauce is about done, so we can cook that pasta through. So what I'm going to do first is fry off and saute all the ingredients. So I always like to start with onion in the pan first. I'm only using some onion because I had half a white onion left. If you don't have an air fryer, just pop it in your oven. So in an oven for say 30 to 40 minutes. It does take a little bit longer. The space is bigger, so it takes a while to heat up that whole oven space. So I do find the conventional oven does take a little bit longer, but just check it after 30 minutes instead of the 20. So my pan is on. I'm just going to use the rest of this olive oil that I poured out for the spaghetti squash. So that was maybe like a tablespoon, something like that. Now I have a real problem with cooking massive amounts and big serves. So this will do me and the kids for at least 3 or 4 days minimum. I might have to freeze some of it, I reckon. So we'll see how we go. But that was just half an onion. Like I said, you don't have to use onion if you don't want to, because we'll be also using some chopped spring onion afterwards, which I find is really nice in a carbonara. So I'll just see if I can turn that around a bit more. What's in the way here? All my spices and things are over here, so just trying to figure out how not to get it into the view of the camera. So then into the pan I'm going to put some chopped up bacon. There were 6 rashers here, just of the streaky part. Now I do have some diced chicken that I will be putting into this as well. I pretty much figured I've got the chicken, I may as well use it. So you don't have to use bacon, you can just use chicken. You don't have to use chicken, you can just use bacon. You don't have to use chicken or bacon and just use the mushrooms. So whatever's easy for you, what you have at hand, and also with your dietary requirements if you're vegetarian, just leave out the meat portion. And yes, this is a Lodge frying pan there, Mary. It's one of the biggest ones I have. I can't remember how many inches it was, but it is quite large. And I find when I cook for my personal cooking clients and I use this pan, I can cook at least 6 very large portions. So I price my portions to fit into 1 litre containers. So this does a good 6 litres worth of meals in here, which is quite fantastic when you're cooking in bulk as well. And cast iron is great to cook in because it holds heat and retains heat, and it's very healthy as well. You don't have Teflon coatings and anti-stick coatings to worry about. So if you keep your cast iron well seasoned and looked after, it also is non-stick. So it's a really good investment if you can get yourself some cast iron to cook with. So I wonder if I can bring you forward a bit more to see. I'll pop you on this side maybe and see if that's a better view of the pan. I think you can see that a little bit better, I think. So at this point now, I'm just going to put in my diced chicken. Now, normally I would use some diced garlic into this as well, like really finely diced or minced garlic. But today I'm going to be using blackened garlic. So I've been making black garlic, and I do have some for sale in my Tash Can Cook store, which you will find. So black garlic is a very interesting ingredient, and it has amazing flavours as well, which I'll just show you here. I'm just going to leave that to cook down a little bit now, so I'll just turn you around a bit. So this here is the blackened garlic. So I've peeled all the cloves. This is from one bulb. And basically, within a controlled environment of heat and moisture and time, the garlic ferments through what's called a Maillard reaction. I think I've pronounced that correctly, Maillard, something like that. And that basically means the reaction is from the enzymes eating into the sugars of the garlic, causing that to go black. And so what happens is, with the garlic, the flavour mellows out, and it becomes, actually it tastes really sweet, and it's almost like candy. I will sometimes sit there and just find myself eating it like candy. So it's a really beautiful ingredient to have, and there have been some studies done as well to say that it's got quite a lot of health benefits. So between anti-carcinogenic, anti-diabetic, I guess because the sugars have reduced in it also. If you do follow a low carb or a keto diet, it's better for you in that way because the carbohydrate content has reduced, which doesn't make much sense because it actually tastes sweeter. But it's wonderful to use in sauces and gravy and flavouring your mayo. So you could do like a black garlic mayo in your baking for breads. It's a really lovely ingredient. And it does take a long time to ferment. Within those controlled environments, it has to stay between no more than 70 degrees constant. So it can take up to a month to ferment to become black. So that's, I think, one reason why a lot of people don't make it themselves. It is a bit tricky in that sense. So with the black garlic, I'm just going to pop that in with the sauce and everything else. So the chicken's looking good, it's browning. I'll just turn you back over to it. It's a bit hard to see with the comments. I'm not sure if you can see the actual pan itself, but that's all browned nicely. I'm just going to turn that down. Oh, sorry, finger over the camera, excuse me. I'll bring you back over, and what we'll do now is make the cream sauce for the carbonara. Oh, almost forgot about the mushrooms. So I've got some wild mushrooms that I picked here. So these ones here are called wood bluets. No, sorry, not wood bluets. They're field bluets. So these ones are similar to wood bluets, Lepista nuda wood bluets. These are Lepista personata. So it's just the growing environment. These ones you find in the field rather than in the woods. So I'll see if I can turn this one around. It's got a beautiful lilac stripe there. And when you smell these, oh, they smell like flowers. They're so fragrant. Like if you imagine walking into a florist, that's how these smell. Really fragrant. And so I often will go mushroom foraging for edible mushrooms, and you will see that in my also in my Tash Can Cook store I have a foraging and identification guidebook available for sale too. So normally around this time of year I would be guiding tours and teaching people all about mushrooms and where to go looking for them and what to look out for. But because we haven't been able to get out, I've put together this this PDF guide for anyone who's interested in learning. So I do have to say, you know, if you are out there and you are not certain of what you have collected or seen, do not consume at all. A lot of people tend to make mistakes, so unless you are completely sure of your identification on the mushroom, please do not consume it. I'm also happy to take any queries, so if you do snap a mushroom out there while you're on a walk or something and you'd like to know what it is, take a few photos. Sorry guys, take a few photos and feel free to message me, and I'll help you try and ID it. So I've also got these native agaricus mushrooms, and these ones grow in symbiosis with eucalypts. So these are the same species as the regular store-bought button mushroom, but they're just a different subspecies of that. So I was very lucky to come across them in button stage, which are just so nice and tender. So I'm just going to throw these into the pan. I'll roughly chop them. My son won't eat mushrooms, he hates them. But the other week when I made pierogi and I threw all those mushrooms in there, they were the wild mushrooms that I had foraged for, and surprisingly he ate all his pierogi and absolutely loved it. Now the knife I'm using is not ideal right now, but it's fine, it'll do. It's just a steak knife. I'm just going to roughly chop these into quarters or whatever. You can chop them however you like. I'm only doing the big, so if Phoenix does decide he doesn't want to give it a go, he can easily pick them out. So you can slice them, dice them, or whatever you like. Use your regular shop mushrooms. If you're not a forager, that's fine. You can leave mushrooms out if you don't like them. That's also fine. But I love the flavours between a creamy, bacony, garlicky and oniony pasta sauce. But if you don't have zucchini squash, for those watching their carbohydrate intake, you can use zoodles. So just strip off some zoodles, zucchini, so you can do them in ribbons or oh, hello darling.
Hi.
It's my daughter here. Mwah. Want to say hello to everyone?
Hi.
You okay?
Yeah. Good. I want to say I love you and I hope this video goes well.
Oh, thanks babe, I love you too. They can be sweet when they want to, can't they? So I can't remember what I was going on about, but oh, zoodles, that's right. So you can do your zucchini ribbons, or strips, whatever you like, or Slendia have some really nice options actually. They have soy-based pasta or noodles, as well as they've also got edamame ones and black bean ones, and the carbohydrate levels on those are really quite low. They don't tend to they're not like they do stick together. They're a bit clumpy, so they're not the greatest for coating sauces with, but they're a really good substitute too. So that's another option. There's quite a few different things that us low carb eaters can have, which is great. I do miss nice fresh pasta though, so maybe once in a while it's not so bad. So with the sauce, I've got 600 mils of cream here. Now you can always halve all these amounts. It's just because I've got a fair bit going on in this pan. So just into a big bowl, container, jug, whatever you've got. I've got my Pyrex. Just pouring the cream into. And the trick with carbonara is kids. The trick with carbonara is to not use whole eggs, because the whole eggs will curdle and scramble. So I've got just some egg yolks in here. These are small eggs. They're 600 gram eggs. So I've got 6 yolks in here. So there's a fair bit going in, and I know some recipes only call for, say, like 2 egg yolks or something, but I really love the flavour that and that richness that egg yolks impart on a carbonara. So just a little whisk, and I've got a cup of Parmesan cheese here. So you don't want to cook the sauce, you want to add it in last and just heat it through, and that way it won't curdle and go all funky and scrambled eggy. So simple. And then just a bit of salt. So actually I might put the salt on the chicken rather than in the, or I'll do a bit of both. Little bit of salt on the chicken, little bit of salt in the carbonara sauce, and that's it. So we're just waiting for the mushrooms to cook down now. I'll get that pasta cooking as well. I'll bring you back over to the pan. Oh, I forgot the black garlic. So all I'm going to do with the black garlic is just give it a rough, and you'll see, I'll show you the texture. It's so soft. So it's quite, you can just squash it. So a lot of people will even just spread this on a bit of toast to eat. And yeah, even desserts and things too it can be used in. So I haven't tried myself to cook it in any desserts, but that is something that would work quite well because of its beautiful caramelized sweetness. It's quite lovely. So I think I might just pop this in with the chicken and the mushrooms rather than into the sauce itself, and just get that all mixed through. And because I have put mushrooms in this, you will see the sauce won't be that that really nice sort of white creamy colour sauce. It will most likely go grey and look a little bit funky, but hey, it's all flavour and taste, isn't it? Phoenix, what do you need, bub? Okay, well, I will deal with that after, okay? I'm almost done, not far off, Phoenix, okay? Alright, so that air fryer is done now with the spaghetti squash. At this point, I'm turning it off completely, and I'm just going to pour the sauce onto the chicken and just stir it through. Wow. Sibling rivalry. I don't think it ever stops. Okay, I'll just stir that through. Water's boiling nicely. I'll just pop the pasta in. I've just got some egg tagliatelle here. I find that egg pasta just holds really well, and especially if you're meal prepping as well. So if you've got, you know, if you're cooking pasta to have for the next day, or if you want it to keep for a couple of days, the egg pasta just, it doesn't go soggy, and yeah, it just holds a lot nicer, and especially if you just undercook it slightly, it'll continue to absorb all of those, the moisture from the sauce as well. So yeah, that's my tip if you are meal prepping or wanting to cook pasta for a few consecutive meals. Just slightly undercook it, and if you're eating on the night, just maybe cook the rest of what's in the pot just for a little bit longer if you like. So with the carbonara, the cheese is just starting to melt. The flame's completely off now. So you can see, I don't know if you guys can see that too well, but you basically just want it to thicken up a little bit. So that cheese is almost all melted, but I'll just pop it on low just for a minute. So the pasta might take 5 to 6 minutes roughly. Let's go and check that spaghetti squash. See how that's gone. Just realised I sprayed the splashed the sauce everywhere. And actually, before we do that, I'll just make some room over here. I'll bring the spaghetti squash over so you guys can have a good look at it. Wow. So if you guys, whoops, check that out. It's nice and golden, and what I'm going to do is grab a plate and I'll show you how to turn it into ribbons. It's kind of cool. So you might want to let it cool down a little bit first, but we'll see how we go. Just pop you back a little bit. Don't know how I can angle this so you guys can see it. Hang on a sec. Pop you down lower. There we are. Oh, it's just been one of those days, Josh. Maybe it's just the Tuesdays. Maybe I just don't have luck on Tuesdays with the kids. They're not too bad. They've been really good, actually, and getting along quite well. But we all have our moments, I think. So simply after it's been roasted, you just want to get your fork into it. And you'll see all these ribbons start to, oh, it is a bit hot. All the ribbons will come out. And all the strands, that's it, you can see all the strands of the spaghetti squash. It's one of my favourite things. It's just a really lovely vegetable to have, and it's great for, you know, your bolognese or casseroles or anything that you would normally have with rice or pasta or even noodles. Chili, it's so good with like chili con carne. So it's a really wonderful vegetable to have if you can find it or grow it yourself. It's really quite amazing. So I'll finish doing that a little bit later. My fingers are getting quite hot. But you can see how much has come out of just that little half of a spaghetti squash. And depending on your appetite, you know, this will do me. Absolutely, it'll be enough for me. And I could scrape a little bit more out of that one, but it's still quite hot over that bottom half, so I'll just leave it. But yeah, and then at this point, turn you around. You can see the carbonara here, and I did say it was going to go brown or grey, and that's just the nature of having mushrooms and caramelized onion and bacon and chicken in there. But the flavour of this is going to be amazing, and that's just thick enough, I reckon. Like, it's especially once you add your pasta, it will thicken even more. Especially, and yeah, just maybe ladle, say, a spoonful of pasta water in. So to this, I'm going to add some spring onion and some parsley, and I was so happy I found parsley in my garden today. I wasn't going to buy any. I was at the shops earlier and I refused to buy parsley because I thought, oh, it's, you know, $3 or $4 for a tiny bunch of parsley, and I thought, no, I'll either use the dried parsley from what I dehydrated myself, or I'm sure I'll find some in the garden, and I did, so I'm quite happy. So the spaghetti squash Mary came from Lean and Green. Can't remember what the brand was. There's a specific brand that farms it. So Lean and Green in Warragul do stock this one, and that's where I purchased this particular one from. But any of your greengrocers, any decent grocer will be able to source it for you. See how you go if you aren't growing it yourself. So adding a little bit of colour into it is making it look a lot more appetizing, and the pasta, I'm guessing, shouldn't be far off. I'll just pop the phone down and have a little taste. I'll turn you back around. Hi everyone. Tuesday-itis. I actually really used to quite love and enjoy Tuesdays. It's my favourite day of the week. Does anyone else have a favourite day of the week? I know a lot of people say Friday because it's the end, and they can enjoy it. They can enjoy the weekend. I always do this. There must be a better way to taste test the doneness of pasta than getting burnt fingers and burnt tongues. Sometimes I'm not the most clever person in the kitchen. Not having much success here. Perfect. Al dente. That egg pasta just has that firmness to it and that bounciness. So much better than whole, like just plain wheat pasta. So that is it. I'll grab another plate for the tagliatelle. See what I'm doing here. Now I've got some more Parmesan cheese in a block, which I'll just grate on top of that after. So here is the tagliatelle with wild fungi and chicken and bacon. And I'll just dish myself up some as well for my spaghetti squash. And I'll turn you guys around so you can see. Sorry, the lighting in my kitchen's not wonderful at all, but there we go. So we have agaricus and field bluets, chicken, bacon, and an egg cream sauce. And that's the more carbohydrate friendly version there with the spaghetti squash. Yep, add a little bit of extra parmesan on top. Oh, and pepper. I love pepper on mine. I always leave it off when I'm making the sauce for the kids because they're quite sensitive to it. But I will crack a lot of pepper onto my meal tonight. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And again, if you're interested in learning about mushroom identification and what's grows locally to Victoria, have a look at my page, Tash Can Cook, and you'll find my guidebook there for sale. I've also got a cultivation book as well, so if you do find some wild oyster mushrooms, you can also learn how to clone those and grow them yourself at home. And if anyone has any IDing questions, feel free to send me a message with some photos of the mushrooms you find as well. Or yeah, anything to do with cooking also. I will be listing more of my recipe books upcoming over the next couple of weeks also. So thank you so much for watching and joining in, and I hope everyone has a really lovely dinner tonight. Ciao.